Howdy folks, and welcome to today's bonus video content. As I said in this week's episode of Meals with Jingles, and you guys answered overwhelmingly positively in the comments section that you did want to see the raw, unedited video of my visit to Cyprus to meet and speak with Wargaming. As you can see, Cyprus has about 3, maybe 4 days of rain in a year, and when we were there we got all 3 of them. Yes, they have weather in Cyprus too. Cyprus, of course, is where Wargaming have their global headquarters, and very nice it is indeed. They do have all kinds of neat toys in their offices, although it's just a pale imitation of the mighty man cave in my secret underground lair, but they've got some cool stuff there, regardless. What I'm going to do with these videos is, rather than just dump the whole unedited footage onto YouTube, I'm going to be cutting them down into bite-sized sections. And doing some editing just to cut out all the unnecessary bits where people repeat themselves and so on and so on. And we're going to kick off with the meeting that we had, or at least the first part of the meeting that we had, with Marcus Schill, who is Wargaming Europe's General Manager. So, Marcus Schill from Wargaming, this is what he had to say.
16. First time that I'm writing actually is 16.
Just as a start, I have something for you, which is it's a guidebook of World of Tanks.
Fun, I can learn how to
what
play.
I thought would be nice if you sign it and Viktor signs it, and you can take it back and maybe hand it out during the streaming session. But if you're interested for one personally, I can definitely get you one as well.
Oh, lovely, thank you.
I'm interested in the chat how to improve my RNG.
Yeah.
How to improve your RNG? Do we have a chat line now?
Having breakfast with Serb will definitely do that for you.
Well, I did have breakfast with Serb, my RNG didn't improve.
He had breakfast when we were there. So
and did your RNG improve?
No. I thought you meant you had it this morning and he was just going in for second breakfast. I thought he's like a hobbit or something.
So, to start the day, we just wanted to have now 1 hour of a meeting. This is Marcus, me, and you guys. At 11 we meet Slava, and it's actually in this room, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in this room. So I might slip a few minutes later to check back on him.
Yeah.
If he's coming. But then let's get started. You
Yes.
want to talk a little bit about?
I don't want to talk that much, I just want to listen a lot actually. So, for me, as I already said yesterday, the main interest for me is actually to talk to you guys about what you hear from the community, what your personal opinions are, and how we are doing as World of Tanks in Europe.
I think the single biggest issue that I keep hearing over and over again, aside from the old artillery's broken and blah blah blah, and no RNG, and the matchmaker has got it against me, and there's definitely all that conspiracy theory crap that goes on all the time, is to do with the pricing policies in the Wargaming Premium store on the EU server.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the people on the EU server feel that they'd be, well, I say a lot of the people, I don't have numbers obviously,
Yeah, no,
but people feel, you're familiar with the MMO term whales.
Yes.
People feel on the EU server that they're being treated as the whales of the wargaming community. People on the EU server will pay for the bundles, so the bundles are all that they ever get offered. On the Russian server, obviously, the Russian economy, people don't have quite that much money to spend, so if a new premium tank comes out, they get the choice of buying the tank or buying a bundle. And there's good value for money with the bundle. I mean, the gold that you get, the premium time that you get with the bundle is quite cheap.
Yeah.
But not everybody can afford to pay €50
Yeah.
every time a new premium tank comes out. And if they had the option of just getting the tank,
Yeah.
they'd do that rather than get the bundle as well. So that, for me, is probably the biggest gripe that I regularly see from my community.
Just from the weekly bundles, on a whole year, it's around €2,500, because there's no cheaper options. And in many countries, that's more than half of minimum salary that people get in a whole year. Yeah, there's many people that I know, they want to pay for the tanks, they want to buy it, they just cannot afford, because that's where their country is.
Just to reiterate what basically you two said, I can't think of another AAA MMO title. I've said this to you guys before, and I've said this to Michael as well, monetization manager, so on and so forth, that I can't think of another AAA MMO that for new content bundles the new content with either old content or currency. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at what Riot do, Riot would always say new content can be purchased by itself. Fair enough, if you want to buy it for a currency that's earnable, they'll charge a little bit more for the first couple of weeks, something that Blizzard is now doing in Heroes of the Storm to stop that feature becoming too popular inside the community. Because the last thing that you really want is there to be suddenly either, in their case, it's a new champion, or alternatively in World of Tanks, it'd be a new tank just flooding the matchmaker initially. Yeah, exactly. So, but my main point is that bundling new content feels like that, and also by putting like a time limit on it of like either a day or a week, it feels like you're kind of pressuring people to make a decision. Do you buy it now? We have no idea if it's going to be available later. Will it be available in-game for gold eventually? And so I guess loads of people have got different price points at which they're willing to bite at. But I think that kind of like, it feels a bit that you're trying to fish with the bundles, if I'm honest. And I think that for new content, it's meant to be exciting. It's meant to be like, this is what's being generated for the community, right? But maybe people need to understand that they don't need to own every premium tank, or they don't need to own all this.
No,
they do. You know what I mean? I think
just should have higher disposable income.
Yeah, but, exactly. Yeah.
So there's obviously this. It's a very valid point. It's one of the where we have been thinking about a lot lately, mainly because of the feedback that we are getting. Europe is very unique in its structure compared to the other regions that we are operating. Maybe aside Asia, where Asia has also a very high differentiation between average incomes in the region.
Yeah,
but Europe is like, it's off the charts. You have Germany, UK, France with like very high per capita income.
And
then
then
you have
Eastern
countries
Europe,
like Poland, Czech Republic, Romania, Hungary, where and nowadays even Spain and Portugal, which have been hit very heavily by the economic crisis, Greece, where the disposable income per capita is very low.
Yeah.
So
and they all have the same premium shop with the same price.
Yeah, but so there's two ways to approach this from a technical point of view. You could actually say, okay, we're going to do an East server and a West server, and really separate the audiences, which is really not what we want to do. For a number of reasons. So first of all, it just makes this compartmentalization would only serve for the ability to market the product cheaper for people to afford it in the countries, but at the same time it actually reduces the community size, or it splits them up. You will get a lot of people who will simply use VPN connections to fake they are being from Poland, so they get cheaper price and play on the Polish cluster rather than the Western European cluster. So it's not really a move that makes sense for us.
It's not practical.
Yeah. The other thing that is unique for Wargaming compared to other game companies in the world really is that for us, CIS has been the startup market. So we started in CIS and it's still our largest market. Whereas other countries or other companies look at Russia as the third rail. It's like, we're going to do that as an add-on to the European operation somehow, and it's a small market for us anyway. So for them, the whole Eastern Europe is actually not that interesting. It is interesting as a growth market, but it's not interesting as a value-generating market. And for us, that's obviously completely the opposite. And that's it's a strange place to be in, because on the one hand, we understand the limitations that people have that are coming from that market. At the same time, we want to operate it also in Western Europe and selling product in Western Europe at a price point that is affordable to someone in Hungary at the Hungarian price points. We'll still have to pay salaries in Europe as well, and we have to finance servers and so forth. So there's always this balance between what is the market possibility and what can we do. However, ways to approach the problem, because the problem is there. So one of the things that we have been starting to test, and you've probably seen this, is that we offered for a couple of for the 24th of December, what's it called? Pattern Korea. We offered two packages, one which was bundled and one which was not bundled.
Yes.
This is it's the third time I think that we're doing this. So we did the first test I think in November or end of October. Then we did one more in December, and then on the 24th. And it seems to be working very well. So it might actually be the forward-going strategy to say, okay, when we are offering something, then we're going to offer it as a bundle for those people who actually do want to have the additional content, because we have been moving away a little bit from adding premium time to it, because premium time is is tricky for bundles, especially when you have a time limit on them. We're not going to move away from time limits because that's there is a little bit of a sales strategy behind that. Obviously, you create immediacy and you create a little bit of the drive for people to, okay, if I want it, then I have a week or I have a day or whatever it is. So we're probably not going to get rid of that. But if I have to buy something that has 7 days of premium time attached to it, and then I'm actually have to buy it on this day, but the next 7 days I'm actually on vacation, then that's a pretty stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, we moved already away from adding premium time to a lot of packages, and we're right now actually really testing what the community accepts, what they like. It looks like gold is quite a good add-on because most people who actually purchase premium tanks also purchase gold for various reasons. So if you have a premium tank, most of the people want to convert anyway. The experience
And the gold doesn't expire.
And the gold doesn't expire, yeah. And so you can also use it in planes. Not a lot of people still play planes that play tanks, but you have more uses for it. And as I said, people who purchase premium vehicles usually use gold for conversion of experience. So for them, it's really not something that's going to get old on their account. So they use it anyway.
So for me, I think with the bundles, I don't mind content that has been previously available by itself being bundled. So like when you did very well with the advent calendar, selling tanks which have been previously available, which are now considered rare and have like a status around them, bundled in for large prices, because then people they miss their opportunity, but they could have originally got it by themselves. It's just specifically for like completely brand new content that I think that the bundling is a little harsh for like your very long term like tank collectors, the people who have probably paid you thousands of euros and played for years. I think it's not so much doing the bundles with old content, it's just specifically the new content I think that would aggravate most people.
Yeah.
Well, so the new content obviously has the highest amount of appeal because people want to have it.
Yeah.
And if it's, well, it depends. Sometimes new content is not always awesome content, so sometimes I don't actually want to be having it. But if it's great tank, then they want to have it, and then if it's outside of their budget, then it's very annoying, and then they're also very vocal about it. But I think generally the bundling is not necessarily. So what we did in the past, there was kind of the premium price that you had to pay if you wanted to have because we usually release it in the premium shop before we release it in game when the tank actually goes in game. And the thinking behind it was, okay, if you want to have it 4 weeks in advance, it's going to be at a premium, which is basically the stuff that you get with it, which was gold and premium time. But yeah, as I said, we're already kind of moving away from that strategy, but we're just trying to figure out how to do that smartly. Because we do want to find ways that we can make attractive offers for those people who actually do want to spend more money and do want to have the convenience of leveling faster. So one of the things that we have been discussing a lot is, and you've seen this also a couple of test packages already on this, that have X5 missions attached to them, like 10 or 15 X5 that you are buying with a tank, that is only available for that specific tank. Which tank did we do that last? I think we did it twice now.
It was a German vehicle, I think, wasn't it?
I keep forgetting which one we bundled it with. But then, yeah, I think it was actually German.
Yeah, German, isn't it?
Was it the Kanonen Jagdpanzer?
Yeah, I think it was Kanonen Jagdpanzer, yes. This seems to be so. We try to be keeping to the intent of the game, where actually, if you spend money, the only thing that you are going to get is experience. So you just get speed up experience gaining, speed up progression, but not actually purchasing an advantage in the game that makes the game better. So that's where we are a little bit limited. So, for instance, if you look at Riot's strategy, how they do it with new content is actually also quite interesting. They release something that is overpowered. Then they nerf it after 5 weeks, and they release the next thing that's overpowered, and nerf it after 5 weeks, and release the next thing that's overpowered. It's a strategy that you can employ, and they have been pioneering this strategy very effectively for the last 3 years, basically. It's not one that fits very well as World of Tanks. Because if you do that, then you get actually the situation that everyone is driving one vehicle only, and you don't get the variety that makes up the game.
Attack 59.
Pardon?
Nothing.
It's like a T-word.
So this is not the path that we want to go down. So the question then for us is, what can we actually offer to people who want to spend more money for them to stay within that strategy that we have been having for premium, and give something that is unique or that is making a higher price point justified. So we were trying on with the X5 mission add-on. That seems to be one of the ones that actually works pretty well. Another thing that, and that's something that I wanted your opinion on, is the zero skill crews.
Yeah.
What's your view on that?
Well, for anyone who hasn't quite figured it out yet, basically they've been adding in the Berlin trio crews. Yeah. And the funny thing is the Berlin trio crews look like you're just getting brothers in arms for free. But the way that the crew actually works is it's like a female crew in the game now. So the first skill on the female crews, the Sisterhood of Steel, doesn't actually count as if it was a skill. I mean, you get all the benefits from it, but for crew training, it doesn't actually count.
It doesn't count as having the first skill unlocked. So, so your second skill, which you're getting,
trains as
the first skill.
as the first one. Yeah. So that means that when people start to get to like 4 or 5 skills, it's going to take you like 1 million experience roughly to be able to get to the next skill. Whereas for the female crew, if you're or now the premium male crews, which I'm going to get onto, if you were to start at 4 skills. And then have one of these brand new crews that have got no experience on them at all, you'd get to 5 skills quicker on a fresh crew rather than a crew that you've already got 4 skills in and spent all that time on. Now the thing is that the frustrating thing is that these crews probably shouldn't have that bonus on them. The male crews probably shouldn't have that kind of like bonus. Fair enough, give them like brothers in arms for free, or let them even have 6th sense. That's fine, just as a starting block. But then to have that advantage where they're better than your original crews that you've invested in, it feels a bit like a punishment for the players who have spent the time training up the crews. Because now you think, oh, shall I just redo it all again, and then it'll take over and become faster.
It's like the first step on that long, slippery slope to pay to win.
Yeah.
Or that's how it's going to be perceived.
And also, what's frustrating about that is that everyone who put the effort in to get the female crews, well, what shall I do? Shall I put all of those effort into getting all of those missions done? Or shall I just buy another Cromwell Berlin package and then move my crew? Yeah. You know what I mean? And the Cromwell Berlin package is actually quite lucrative because people have figured out that I think if you move the crew out of Cromwell Berlin, and then you keep it in your garage, and then you buy the bundle again, you get the gold, I think you get the gold compensation price, and then you get another 5 premium male crew sitting in your garage, and then you can use them whatever you want. So it's kind of devaluing...
Players are sneaky, aren't they?
It devalues all of the effort that you've put in. Then it also devalues the female crews that you've got. And then what's even more frustrating is that female crews can't mix and match their brotherhood of arms or sisterhood of steel. Yeah,
that's right.
So if you've got like your crew in, say, like the British Tier 10 medium, and then you want to put it in like something else that has an extra crew member, but you don't have the girls to put it in, and you have to mix it with a guy, and that brothers in arms will never work, which is like ridiculous.
It's a sisterhood.
But the premium male crews would be able to mix and match, if you get what I mean. So it's like... So
this piece is a little bit questionable, but to your point, Paul, I'm not 100% sure it is going in the... And this is why I'm actually wanting to have this as an open discussion on this, because I'm not sure it's actually slippery in the sense of pay to win.
It's not.
Oh, I don't think it is. But I guarantee it will be perceived as that by some of the more vocal members of the community.
It will be paid to have an eventual advantage.
Yeah.
I have the feeling that the community thinks it's special.
Yeah.
So you're right, it's kind of abusive if you just buy a Cromwell B package again and again and again. But if it's seldom you sell these packages, I don't know. I think it stays special. Stays quite special.
Well, so the real, I mean, what you said is obviously true. When you actually want to get to 5 skills, then the 5th skill on a 0 skill crew actually is going to be faster than going from the 3rd to the 4th on a normal crew.
No,
Which
it's
is-
faster from going from like
of
zero,
course.
0 to 0. Like going, so you've got a 4-skill regular crew,
Yeah.
and then you've got like a 0-skill premium crew. They're going to reach 5 skills before your 4-skill would have at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, this is the same logic that is that premium time has. It's in terms of you get to something faster by spending money. It's not that you get that you cannot get to it by not spending money.
Yeah.
It's just going to take you longer. I mean, obviously with crew skills, especially when we're talking 4 to 5 crew skills. I mean, around the table we have like I don't know about 190,000 battles between all of us. So we have crews with 4 to 5 skills. Most people don't get to that. Obviously, getting to a large number of crew skills, you need to have like 10,000 plus battles in order to.
Yeah, this is not really going to affect that many.
Yeah,
people.
that's true. It's more of a mentality, isn't
Yes.
it? I think
Yeah.
It's a
more of the
perception
principle.
rather than a reality.
And like an easy way to fix it is just to make it so that the Sisterhood of Steel converts in. You know, it's just those like quick fixes that I feel that could be made. Like if that was to cross-reference, then fair enough. You're just purchasing. It just devalues. I hate it when things get devalued because of being able to purchase things. You know, I think that with the female crew, that felt like such a special thing for me, at least. And I think the female crews feel quite special for other players as well. I think that
Yeah,
Quite a few
I was
people.
so proud when
Yeah.
I unlocked my first one.
And now it's pointless. Fair enough, on some nations it's useful, but I wish I'd never invested them in like British. I wish I'd never got those 4 British girls. I wish I'd never got those.
I'm real glad I put them in my Japanese tanks because I'm such a massive girls and panzer
Yeah,
nerd.
or the Soviet,
That's a good one. Actually.
or the Soviet tanks, because like you've got like tons of them lying around from like an IS-2, the Rudy, like all the Berlin trio, you know, the ISU 122S or whatever. So.
You mean sister should match with brother?
Oh well, yeah. Hopefully that would happen.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the premium male crew will mix and match. So it doesn't matter if you faff them around. Yeah. But yeah.
But it would be a good point. I like that.
Well, like the perfect thing is like I've got 4 female crew in my T110 and then I can't mix and match them into my T34.
Yeah.
Whereas if I purchase, I think that new Korean pattern had a bundle where they got like a premium male crew, didn't they? Did they come with brothers in
Yes.
arms?
Yeah, right.
So like, if I just bought myself the premium Ripper pattern, then I could have put those 4 guys. That's what it is. It's called a Ripper pattern. That's what it's
Never
called.
heard it before.
I've never heard that.
That's what it's called. It's called a Ripper
A
pattern.
ripper pattern.
That's what it says bloody well in game. It's the Ripper pattern. Anyway,
Because of his
Yeah.
Claws.
that's what they were called in the military, I think, as well in Korea. Possibly. Anyway, whatever. We'll call it. What do you want to call it?
But it sounds good.
Call it Tiger Face. Okay. I could have bought the Tiger Face tank
Rawr.
and then had those screw in it. Anyway, it's like small mechanics like that I feel that can be either thought about before it's released or like put in the super testing period or something. You know, something like that. It's just little things that I think will. I hope that you don't ever take it into a direction where you devalue the effort that people have put in, even with a premium account, you know?
You do make a good point though, because think of it from that perspective. It's no different to buying premium time. From the same, what are you actually getting out of it? Well, you're getting to where you were going anyway, faster.
Yeah, but they got to be careful with that as well, because if they were to make like a super premium account, which gave you ridiculous experience income as an example, a bit like with the 5 times packages, then people might say, oh, well, I don't know, it just feels like people who are long-term players who have put the effort in, you don't want to see somebody just come in and do what you did in a quarter of the time or whatever, you know?
Or Armoured Warfare, where you buy a premium tank and it comes with a fully skilled crew before you've even played your first battle.
So that's question
Yeah, the premium ice packages
With the premium
and the mercenary packages.
scenario X package and mercenary ice package.
Yeah. You get a 5. Well, they're not 5 skills, but they're around 5
pretty
crew with 2 skills, and you just I'll have that skill and that skill on
And if
him,
you-
and
if
that
you-
skill and that skill on her.
If you
and
buy
bingo.
the whole package, you get a crew for every tank.
Because I don't think like World of Tanks
Yes.
is like World of Warcraft in the terms of now you can just buy level 100, right?
Yeah.
No,
But effectively in WoW, buying level 100 and then you start to play the game, because really it's only the end game that kind of matters in that.
You don't know how to play the game.
Yeah. Whereas in World of Tanks, actually the leveling up or the progression is probably one of the most interesting parts.
Yeah.
And when you actually reach tier 10, that's not such a big deal.
Yeah.
So it's when you kind of make the progression, when you devalue the progression by enabling people to accelerate it too much. And it might
Yeah, so
be
obviously
seen
there's a sweet spot to be found,
Yeah,
right?
exactly, there's
I
a
mean,
sweet spot.
in World of Warcraft is an interesting example, because obviously when you have been a World of Warcraft player from the very early days, and you grew up with all the expansions, so you first level to level, with first level to level 50, then you could go to level 60, then 70, 80, 90, and now 100, now it's 120, I think, or 100.
It's going to be 110 in like half a year or something.
That's so you have two different parts of an audience. So right now, if I acquire a new World of Warcraft player, then it's the question whether I'm actually having go through all of that. I mean, for me personally, Burning Crusade part was like the horror in the beginning. So when I actually disliked it completely, but then when what was the next after Burning Crusade?
Wrath of the Lich King.
Wrath of the Lich King. For Wrath of the Lich King, I started a new character. I actually didn't start it at hype.
It's 58.
58 as a Death Knight. You started.
Yeah, I
58.
didn't. I actually played up another character, and then I started to like the leveling process from 50 to 60, which was weird, because originally I didn't like it, then I liked it, and then I may not like it. But if I now, as a new player, have to start at 1 and go to 100, then there's a lot of content that I have to go through where there's no one around.
Yeah.
So when we actually grew up in that area back then, it was full. Bratland was, or what is it? Bratland in English. Wasteland, Barons.
The Barons, oh God.
Barons
Barons
chat was
chat.
the most ridiculous fun part of the evening. So
Where's
so that-
Mancrick's wife? Shut up!
But now, I mean, even the Wasteland chat or the Bratland,
Barons.
Barons
Barons.
chat is going to be empty, because there's just no one there.
Yeah. They have actually taken steps. They've done some clever server merging stuff. So
Yeah.
there's people from whole different server clusters all playing at the same time. But even with that, there's still not a lot of people around.
Right. But so this is kind of the situation that we have to an extent as well. So there's one part of the community where it's like 20 or I don't know, 10 to 20 tier 10 tanks who have been with us for 4 years and have been playing for a long, long time, and then there's people who just joined yesterday. And how do you kind of find a way to introduce things that these guys will not be pissed off by, because what you would call devaluation of the effort that they have put in, but at the same time find ways, because obviously in attracting new audience to the game, you are going wider than your initial core audience. So the initial core audience that was picking up World of Tanks 4 years ago were people who were interested in tanks. Now we're also trying to find people who are not necessarily as interested in tanks anymore, but might be just interested in general gameplay or general combat games. So,
But like medium to high tiers in World of Tanks is like you can't avoid playing with other people, right?
Yes.
Because World of Tanks is a multiplayer game. So I feel like when you reach a certain tier, you'd kind of want someone to have put in a certain number of games, because the last thing you want to see is like a tier 8 on your team with 0k games played. It's just going all over the place, right? So
I still behave like that after
yeah, no, you've got a good win rate, Marcus. But my point is that like you don't want to make it so that people can just go wow right through the tiers and then not still build up that knowledge.
Exactly. So this is why I was saying there is a sweet spot for how fast you can level, and you have to actually learn the game. It's not. It isn't as easy as to I'm just jumping in and now I know what I'm going to do. This is also why the tier 10 policy will not change, that you purchase tier 10 tanks and then you're just at the end game, because I think people would. It's not just for the people who have actually leveled there who will be like annoyed that people drive there and don't actually know what to do. It's also not going to be interesting for the guys who are going to come in.
Because they're going to go, oh, tier 10 tank, nobody can kill me.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Oh, this game's terrible.
So it's not. Quite honestly, it is still very tough to actually level through, and this is something that we where we have leveled 4 years ago, or we did actually the grind up 4 years ago. Nowadays, even if we do want to experience a new tech tree, we have so much free experience generated through all our tier 10 driving that it's not really that tough anymore. But when you remember your the first tank line that you were grinding up, it's actually quite a process. And it remains to be tough for everyone who starts new. So there's certain areas, especially between like tier 7 to tier 9, where a little bit of speed up could actually probably help conversion and get more players to reach tier 10. And then in the very early part of the game, so 1 to 4, there it might actually be a little bit too fast. So the overall balance is good. The game obviously has a lot of players, and a lot of players enjoy it. But there is, if you look at which you can't, but I can, at the drop-off rates where people actually to which tier they play and then they don't play anymore. You see that there are certain points where we do want to make a little bit of alterations.
I'm guessing tier 4 is a bit of a roadblock for people.
Tier 4, up to tier 4 is super fast, and then it actually starts.
And then from 4 to 5, suddenly
the grind
it starts getting serious.
I guess tier 7 is one of the hardest points. Tier 7 or tier 8.
Yeah, so 7 to 9 is the stretch that is really like for your first 7. If you go through the tiers, 7 to 9. But usually when they reach tier 7, they're already over the point where they're getting annoyed by a grind. That's already happening between at around the tier 4 to 5 mark. The ones that do not want to invest the time, they will drop off there. The ones who actually get intrigued by the mechanics, by the tanks,
want to play the game.
Want to play the game.
Want to play the game.
But so there's and it's something that comes also from our heritage as being a Russian company. There's a little bit going on. If there's no pain, you should not have gain. And we as hardcore gamers can kind of appreciate that, but for the casual players, it's not necessarily the best approach to kind of get them into the game.
I guess you could have like a...
Right, I'm going to have to call an end to proceedings here. This was supposed to be just miniature bite-sized chunks of video of the discussions that we had with Wargaming, but this is already half an hour long and showing no signs whatsoever of winding down. Don't worry, we will be picking up where we left off in the next episode, which will be coming out at some point this week. Again, as bonus content alongside the usual videos that I upload every day. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's given you a valuable insight into the way Wargaming approach the marketing and pricing of the game, and why they make some of the decisions that they do. Plenty more of this to come in the future. I have hours of video recorded of the conversations and discussions that we had with the various people at Wargaming Cyprus, their global headquarters. So hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.